The mosque courtyard glowed under the faint light of dusk. Saalar Sikandar stood at the edge, his hands buried in his pockets, his eyes fixed on nothing in particular. His heart was restless, though he wouldn't have admitted it. For the world, he was still the same, confident, arrogant, and dismissive of all things sacred. A distant call to prayer echoed through the still air. For a brief second, he felt something shift inside him, a feeling he couldn't name. But as quickly as it came, he pushed it away. He told himself it was just another meaningless moment in a life full of meaningless things. Laughter filled the table, loud, careless, hollow. They spoke of grades, girls, and games. Someone mentioned Imama Hashim, the quiet, religious girl from the medical college. "She's strange," one of them said. "Always with her hijab, always avoiding people." Saalar smiled faintly. "Strange can be interesting," he replied. He didn't know why he said it. The next morning, Imama walked across the campus lawn, her books pressed to her chest, her steps quick and cautious. She wasn't unaware of the whispers behind her, but she chose silence. Her world was different. It was built on faith, on restraint, on something deeper than appearances. In her heart, a quiet conflict brewed. Her family's Shia beliefs had shaped her childhood, yet her search for truth had taken her elsewhere, toward the Quran, toward questions, toward clarity. That clarity came with fear. She couldn't tell anyone, not her parents, not her brothers, not her friends. The fear of rejection pressed against her like a weight she could not lift. One afternoon, Saalar saw her in the university library. She sat at a far table, absorbed in reading, her face calm and distant. Something about that calm unsettled him. He didn't understand why her silence made him uncomfortable. A few days later, a friend dared him to talk to her, to make her speak. "You can make any girl talk," they teased. He didn't like losing a challenge. That evening, Saalar approached her in the corridor. "You always walk so fast, like you're running from the world," he said, his tone playful. Imama looked at him briefly, her gaze steady but cold. "And maybe the world is worth running from," she replied softly, then walked away. That one sentence stayed with him for days. For the first time in his life, a girl had walked away without trying to impress him, without smiling, without fear. It stung. But beneath that sting was something else, something unspoken, something that would change both their lives forever. That night, Saalar sat awake in his room, staring at the ceiling. He didn't know why his thoughts kept circling back to her voice, calm, confident, untouched by the world he lived in. He didn't know that the same night, Imama lay awake, praying quietly, asking for strength, for faith, for courage, for the path she had chosen against all odds. The distance between them was vast, faith against arrogance, belief against doubt, yet fate had already tied their stories together. Imama Hashim sat by her bedroom window, her Quran open before her. The verses she read that night were heavy with meaning, about truth, faith, and sacrifice. She traced each word with her eyes, as if memorizing not just the lines, but the courage they carried. For weeks now, her heart had been in turmoil. The truth she had found, Islam as she understood it from the Quran, no longer aligned with the beliefs she was raised in. It was not rebellion. It was conviction, but conviction came at a price. Her family would never accept her choice. She knew that. In her father's grand house, silence had weight. What value did beauty hold when one's soul was restless? Her parents, though loving in their own way, lived within the boundaries of social pride. Religion, to them, was tradition, not transformation. Her mother, deeply rooted in Shia customs, spoke often of honor. Her father spoke of lineage. But Imama's heart sought something beyond, something pure. Each night, she prayed in secret, and each prayer felt like a confession of both faith and fear. One evening, her friend Zainab noticed the change in her. "Imama, you look different lately," she said. "You talk less, and your eyes, they look far away." Imama smiled faintly. "Maybe I've just found something worth being quiet for." but rumors spread quickly in university circles. It wasn't long before whispers reached the wrong ears, whispers about Imama's conversion, about her reading Sunni scholars' works, about her debates with the local imam. Her brother discovered a notebook one day, filled with notes, Quranic references, and thoughts about faith. He confronted her, his voice rising with anger. "Have you lost your mind, Imama? Do you know what this means for our family?" She said nothing. When her father found out, his disappointment was colder than rage. "I will not have disgrace in my house," he said. "You will stop meeting those people. You will forget these foolish ideas." Imama's lips trembled, but her eyes stayed steady. "I can't forget the truth, Abu. Once you see it, you can't unsee it." For a long moment, there was silence. Then he left, his steps echoing like thunder through the hallway. That night, Imama wept for the first time in months, not out of regret, but because faith, though beautiful, had made her utterly alone. Meanwhile, at the university, Saalar Sikandar remained the same in the eyes of everyone, arrogant, brilliant, untouchable. But inside, something had begun to crack. He couldn't stop thinking about Imama. Her quiet strength had left an imprint he couldn't erase. He found himself reading about religion, not out of devotion, but curiosity. It was strange for him, a man of logic trying to understand belief. He read verses that Imama once quoted. They didn't make sense to him yet, but they unsettled him. He wanted to understand why she believed so deeply. One evening, he saw her again, walking out of the mosque courtyard with a look of calm that defied everything he knew about the world. He stood there, watching her from a distance, his chest tight with emotions he didn't recognize. She saw him too. For a brief moment, their eyes met. There was no greeting, no smile, just a silent understanding that something had begun between them, though neither could name it. When she turned away, he felt a strange emptiness, as if something precious had slipped through his fingers before he could even hold it. That night, for the first time, Saalar prayed, not with faith, but with confusion. He didn't know that the prayer he whispered half-heartedly that night would one day change the course of his entire life.